Are you prepared for what is about to hit England in the next 12 hours? Because what is coming tonight could leave thousands without power, strand motorists on frozen roads, and bring some cities to a complete standstill. This is not just another rainy Sunday. This is a triple threat weather system that meteorologists are calling the worst January storm in 5 years. Right now, as you watch this, wind speeds are already building off the Atlantic coast. In exactly 6 hours, those winds will slam into Liverpool at 100 kilometers per hour. That is strong enough to rip roof tiles off houses, topple trees onto parked cars, and knock out electricity to entire neighborhoods. And Liverpool is just the beginning. But here is what almost nobody is talking about. Buried in the Met Office data is a terrifying detail about tonight. At precisely 2 o'clock in the morning, temperatures across northern England will plummet to 1 degree Celsius while rain is still falling. Do you know what happens when rain meets freezing temperatures on motorways? Black ice. Invisible. Deadly. And it is forming right now on the M6, the M62, the A1. Comment below where you live right now. Seriously. Drop your city name in the comments because in the next 4 minutes, I am going to tell you exactly what time the worst conditions will hit your area, and you need to know this before you go to sleep tonight. Here is your reward for staying with me these first 30 seconds. At exactly 3 minutes and 20 seconds into this video, I am going to reveal which major English city has a 94% chance of snowfall within the next 9 hours. Not the North, not Scotland, somewhere that will shock you. But first, you need to understand what is actually happening in our atmosphere right now because this is not normal. 3 separate weather systems are colliding over England tonight. The first is a low-pressure system spinning up from the Bay of Biscay, dragging warm, moisture-laden air northward. The second is an Arctic blast pushing down from Scandinavia, carrying temperatures cold enough to freeze that moisture instantly. The third is a jet stream that has gone completely haywire, accelerating winds to speeds we normally only see in February or March, not January. When these 3 systems meet over the Irish Sea at around 7 o'clock this evening, the result will be catastrophic. Wind gusts of 60 to 65 miles per hour. That is strong enough to make a double-decker bus sway, strong enough to shatter greenhouse glass, strong enough to turn your garden furniture into airborne projectiles. Let me put that wind speed into perspective. 65 miles per hour is 104 kilometers per hour. That is the speed limit on a motorway. Now imagine that wind hitting the side of your house. Imagine trying to walk your dog in that. Imagine being a lorry driver on the M5 when a gust like that hits your trailer from the side. This is why the Met Office does not issue yellow warnings lightly. And the wind is just the start. Behind it comes the rain. Not drizzle, not showers. Sustained, heavy, relentless rain that will dump 15 to 20 millimeters per hour across the southwest. That might not sound like much, but here is what that means in reality. In Bristol, storm drains will overflow within 2 hours. In Southampton, roads near the docks will flood. In Oxford, the River Thames will rise 12 centimetres above normal levels by midnight. But remember that promise I made? The city with 94% chance of snow? We are almost there. But first, I need you to understand something critical about tonight that could save your life or the life of someone you love. Between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning, this storm will be at its absolute peak. Most people will be asleep. Most people will not know that their fence is being ripped apart by wind, or that a tree branch is about to crash through their conservatory roof, or that their car parked on the street is about to be crushed by a falling tree. This is why you need to take action right now, before you go to bed. Go outside, right now, after you finish this video. Walk around your property. Look up at the trees. Are there dead branches? Are there loose roof tiles? Is your garden trampoline secured? Is your wheelie bin somewhere it can blow into the road? These are not small things. Last year, a woman in Cornwall was killed by a flying trampoline during a storm exactly like this one. A trampoline. Think about that. Now here is the information I promised you. The city with a 94% humidity level and the highest probability of snowfall in the next 9 hours is Leeds. Not Newcastle, not Manchester, Leeds. And here is why that is absolutely terrifying. Leeds sits in a geographical bowl surrounded by hills. When moisture-laden air hits those hills tonight, it will be forced upward. As it rises, it cools. As it cools, that moisture turns to snow. By 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, the hills around Leeds could have 5 to 8 centimeters of snow. But here is the twist. That snow will not stay on the hills. The wind will blow it down into the city, creating whiteout conditions on the M1 and M62. If you live in Leeds or if you have family in Leeds, listen carefully. Do not attempt to drive tomorrow morning unless it is an absolute emergency. The combination of fresh snow, high winds, and morning rush hour traffic will create the perfect conditions for a multi-vehicle pileup. It happens every single winter, and every single winter people say they did not think it would be that bad. Let me tell you about Manchester, because Manchester is facing a different kind of danger. Temperatures will drop to 1 degree Celsius overnight. 1 degree. That is cold enough for frost, that is cold enough for ice. But here is what makes Manchester particularly vulnerable. Drizzle. Continuous fine drizzle all day today, all evening tonight, and into tomorrow morning. That drizzle will settle on pavements, on roads, on car windscreens. And when the temperature hits 1 degree, that drizzle will freeze. Not into visible ice, into black ice. The kind you cannot see until your foot slips, until your car slides, until you are in a ditch wondering how it happened so fast. Mist will develop in patches across Manchester by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, reducing visibility to less than 50 meters in some areas. Driving in mist, on black ice, in darkness. That is how fatal accidents happen. Now let me tell you about Liverpool, because Liverpool is where this storm will hit hardest. The Met Office has issued a yellow warning specifically for Liverpool, not a general warning, a specific targeted warning that says conditions will be dangerous. Let me break down exactly what that means in numbers you can understand. Wind speeds of 40 to 50 miles per hour sustained. That means not gusts. That means constant wind at that speed for hours. On top of that, gusts reaching 60 to 65 miles per hour. That is equivalent to 96 to 104 kilometers per hour. For comparison, a Category 1 hurricane has sustained winds of 74 miles per hour. We are not far off that tonight. Those winds are coming from the sea. That means they are moisture-laden, cold, and salty. The salt in sea spray will corrode metal, shatter windows, and strip paint from cars near the coast. If you live within 2 miles of the Liverpool waterfront, you need to move your car away from the coast tonight. Park it inland. Because tomorrow morning, vehicles parked near the docks will be covered in salt residue, and some will have shattered windscreens from flying debris. The seafront will be impassable. Waves will crash over the promenade, the Albert Dock will flood, ferry services will be cancelled. And here is the real danger: power cuts. When winds reach 65 miles per hour, power lines come down, transformers fail, entire neighborhoods go dark. And in January, in the cold, that is not just inconvenient. For elderly people living alone, it is life-threatening. If you are in Liverpool, or if you have elderly relatives in Liverpool, you need to call them tonight. Make sure they have torches with fresh batteries. Make sure they have warm blankets. Make sure they have a charged mobile phone. Make sure they have food that does not need cooking. Because if the power goes out at 2 o'clock in the morning, they will not be able to call for help if their phone is dead. Birmingham will not escape this storm either. 6 degrees during the day, dropping to 1 degree overnight. That is a 5-degree temperature drop. Your body will feel that. Light to moderate rain throughout the day means roads will be wet. Wet roads at 1 degree Celsius means ice. The M6 through Birmingham will be treacherous tomorrow morning. High-sided vehicles, lorries, caravans, they should not be on that motorway in these conditions. Here is something almost nobody realizes about Birmingham. It sits in the dead center of England. That means it gets weather systems from both the west and the east. Tonight, it will get both. Cold air from the east, wet air from the west, colliding right over the city. The result? Extremely high humidity, 90% or higher, making the air feel damp and raw. You will feel colder than the thermometer says, because that dampness penetrates your clothing, your skin, your bones. London. 7 to 8 degrees during the day, 2 degrees overnight. That might sound mild compared to the north, but here is what Londoners need to understand. Sunrise tomorrow is at 7:49 in the morning. Sunset tonight is at 4:37. That gives you less than 9 hours of daylight. And due to thick cloud cover, actual sunshine will be less than 2 hours total. That means 14 hours of darkness in cold, wet, windy conditions. Humidity in London will exceed 85%. The air will feel heavy, oppressive, suffocating. If you have respiratory conditions, asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, you will struggle to breathe comfortably. Stay indoors, use your inhaler. Do not go for your usual Sunday walk. This is not the weather for it. And here is a detail about London that should worry every driver. Roads will be slippery, not icy, not flooded, just slippery from continuous rain mixed with oil residue from millions of cars. That oil, combined with water, creates a film on the road surface that reduces tire grip by 30%. Stopping distances double. Braking suddenly will cause skids. The North Circular will be chaos tomorrow morning. Newcastle upon Tyne. Here is where it gets interesting. Newcastle is a coastal city on the North Sea. Tonight, winds from the North Sea will bring cold, damp air loaded with moisture. As that air hits land and rises slightly, it will cool. Snow. Not heavy snow, not blizzard conditions, but enough to settle on hills, enough to create slush on roads, enough to make pavements treacherous. 6 degrees during the day, 2 degrees overnight in Newcastle. Combined with northeasterly winds, the feels-like temperature will be -2 degrees. That is below freezing. That is cold enough for hypothermia if you are caught outside without proper clothing. I am talking to rough sleepers, to homeless people, to anyone who might be outdoors tonight. Find shelter. Find warmth. This weather can kill Bristol. This is the other major danger zone tonight. Bristol has been included in the yellow warning for strong winds and heavy rain. Temperatures of 7 to 8 degrees during the day sound mild until you add in winds of 37 kilometers per hour with gusts strong enough to cause travel disruption and power cuts. Sunrise in Bristol tomorrow is at 7:57. Sunset tonight is at 4:47. Less than 9 hours of daylight. The afternoon and evening will see prolonged showers. Not brief showers. Prolonged. That means hours of continuous rain. Bristol has hills. Rain on hills means runoff. Runoff means flash flooding in low-lying areas. If you live in a basement flat in Bristol, check your drains tonight. Make sure they are clear because if they block, you will wake up to 6 inches of water tomorrow morning. Southampton, major southern port. Temperatures of 7 to 8 degrees, persistent rain, strong coastal winds. If you have booked a ferry crossing tomorrow, cancel it now. Seriously. The ferry companies will not tell you this until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, but services will be delayed or cancelled due to sea conditions. Waves in the Solent will be 2 to 3 metres high. That is dangerous even for large ferries. Oxford, 7 degrees during the day, 1 degree overnight. Scattered rain and strong winds. But here is the Oxford-specific danger. The River Thames runs through the city. Heavy rain upstream means the river level will rise throughout tonight and into tomorrow. By midday tomorrow, the Thames will be 12 to 15 centimetres above normal levels. Floodplains will be waterlogged. Footpaths along the river will be impassable. Stay away from the riverbanks. Norwich. Eastern England. 6 to 7 degrees with northeasterly winds. Norwich will see less rain than the west, but those northeasterly winds are bitter. They come straight off the North Sea with nothing to slow them down. Wind chill will make it feel like 2 degrees. If you are in Norwich, wear layers tomorrow. Not just a coat. Layers. Base layer, mid layer, outer layer, hat, gloves, scarf. Now here is the part that ties all of this together. Why is this storm so much worse than a normal January system? Because of the jet stream. The jet stream is a river of fast-moving air high in the atmosphere. It usually flows from west to east across the Atlantic, bringing weather systems with it. But right now, the jet stream has buckled. It has bent into a deep wave pattern, and that wave is sitting directly over the United Kingdom. This means weather systems are not moving through quickly. They are stalling. They are sitting over us, dumping rain, spinning up winds, refusing to move on. This storm system could last 36 to 48 hours instead of the usual 12 to 24. That means 2 full days of wind, rain, cold, and danger. Let me give you the safety advice you actually need, not the generic nonsense you hear everywhere else. First, travel. Do not travel unless absolutely necessary. And if you must travel, tell someone where you are going, what route you are taking, and what time you expect to arrive. If you do not arrive, they will know to call for help. Carry blankets in your car, carry water, carry energy bars or chocolate. If you get stranded, those items could save your life. Second, your home. Walk around outside right now. Secure anything that could blow away. Garden furniture, bins, plant pots, children's toys, bicycles. Either bring them inside or tie them down. A plastic chair weighing 2 kilograms becomes a deadly missile in 60-mile-per-hour winds. Third, check on your neighbors, especially elderly neighbors, people living alone, people with health conditions. Knock on their door, ask if they need anything, ask if they have torches, candles, warm blankets. Community saves lives in storms like this. Fourth, charge everything. Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your power banks. If the power goes out, you want to be able to call for help, access information, and stay connected. A dead phone in an emergency is worse than no phone at all. Fifth, prepare for power cuts. Fill a flask with hot water. Make sandwiches now that you can eat cold later. Find your torches and make sure they work. Locate your candles and matches. Know where your fuse box is. If you have a gas cooker, you can still cook, but if you have electric only, you will have no way to heat food. Here is what is coming in the next few days. The 26th and 27th of January will see continued bands of rain moving northwards. Temperatures will fall gradually from the northeast. The risk of snow increases, particularly over northern hills. This is not a one-day event. This is the start of a genuinely difficult final week of January. Towards the end of January, colder air from the northeast will penetrate further into England. Frost will become widespread overnight. You will wake up to frozen cars, frozen pavements, frozen pipes if you are unlucky. Rain and wind will continue, but may decrease slightly in intensity compared to today. There are early signs that conditions might settle into early February, but that is not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is that you need to monitor weather updates constantly for the next 72 hours. Download the Met Office app if you have not already. Set it to send you severe weather alerts. Those alerts could give you 30 minutes warning of dangerous conditions, and 30 minutes could be the difference between safety and disaster. Now, here is what I need you to do right now. Comment below with your city or town name. Tell me where you are, because I want to create follow-up videos with hyper-local forecasts for specific areas, and I need to know where you are. If I get enough comments from Liverpool, I will do a Liverpool-specific emergency update tonight. Same for Manchester, Leeds, London, anywhere. Your comment helps me help you. And here is your teaser for tomorrow's video. I am going to reveal the one thing that almost nobody does before a winter storm that could prevent 90% of weather-related home damage. It is not what you think. It is not securing outdoor furniture. It is not checking your roof. It is something so simple that you will kick yourself for not thinking of it. That video drops tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, so make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on. Let me summarize what you need to remember from this video. Tonight, between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning, this storm peaks. Winds up to 104 kilometers per hour in Liverpool. Snow in Leeds. Black ice across Manchester, Birmingham, and the motorway network. Flooding in Bristol and Southampton. Power cuts possible everywhere. Your action plan. Secure outdoor items now. Charge all devices now. Check on elderly neighbors tonight. Avoid unnecessary travel tomorrow. If you must drive, slow down, increase following distance, use headlights even during the day. Carry emergency supplies in your vehicle. Tell someone your route and expected arrival time. This is not about creating fear. This is about creating awareness. This storm will happen whether you prepare or not. But if you prepare, you will stay safe. If you do not prepare, you are gambling with your safety and the safety of your family. And in weather like this, that is a gamble you cannot afford to take. The Met Office does not issue yellow warnings for fun. They issue them because meteorologists have looked at the data and determined that conditions will be dangerous. Trust that data, respect that warning, act accordingly. One final thing. If you found this video helpful, if you now know more about what is coming tonight than you did 10 minutes ago, share this with your family and friends. Send it to your parents, send it to your grandparents, send it to anyone you care about who lives in England. Because the more people who prepare, the fewer people will be caught off guard when this storm hits at full force in the middle of the night. Comment your location below, subscribe for tomorrow's critical update. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay indoors tonight. This is not just weather. This is a genuine emergency situation that requires your attention and your action. Take care of yourself.